Welcome to the video. In this video, we illustrate about projection for demand, production, and global trade dynamics of hydrogen. Hydrogen is the lightest and the most abundant element in the universe. It has gained significant attention as the potential clean and sustainable energy carrier. The development of hydrogen as an energy resource has a long history dating back to early 19th century. From our resource, these general scenarios explain a range of possible outcomes depending on certain underlying assumptions. For example, the degree of government support for hydrogen energy varies in different countries and regions. Then, infrastructure construction of sustainable aviation fuels is the key to realizing the transition from fossil fuel to clean hydrogen energy. But there are uncertainties in the construction progress and coverage, which affect the overall decarbonization process. Moreover, hydrogen-based synthetic fuels must show competitiveness relative to the major SAF alternatives, such as biokerosene, in terms of cost and raw material supply. This process is affected by technological development and market supply and demand conditions. From our data analysis, we predict the hydrogen demand is continuously increased next few decades. Nearly all hydrogen consumed today is gray hydrogen, approximately 90 million tons per year. However, demand for gray hydrogen is projected to decline as demand for clean hydrogen rates and cost of green molecular eventually become more competitive. After 2025, clean hydrogen production is expected to replace green hydrogen. Existing applications will gradually transition to clean hydrogen until 2030, while new applications will drive demand after 2030 and 2040. By 2050, clean hydrogen demand could account for up to 73 to 100% from 125 to 585 million tons per year of total hydrogen demand, with only between less than 1 and 50 million tons per year of demand being met by gray hydrogen, depending on scenario. Moreover, we found that industry is projected to drive the majority of clean hydrogen uptake until 2030, followed by a wider uptake in new application by 2050. We predict the increase in clean hydrogen share of total hydrogen demand from less than 1% today to around 30% by 2030 in further acceleration scenario. Combined clean hydrogen uptake in existing application and emerging application could drive clean hydrogen share of total demand to 75% by 2040. By 2040, clean hydrogen could play a large role in new application, especially in mobility, which is expected to be the largest newcomer from clean hydrogen demand by 2040 in the further acceleration scenario. And the second largest newcomer is expected to be hydrogen used in heating, displacing natural gas.
Okay, clean hydrogen cost competitiveness is projected to vary between regions. So the production costs are expected to drop significantly by 2030 to 50. So with large differences across regions under the scenario explored. Cost differentials among regions could drive an increasing mismatch between the supply and the demand centers, and thus lead to the development of major hydrogens and hydrogen derivatives export hubs. So regions with cost competitiveness, natural gas resource, and CCUS, such as the Middle East, Norway, and the United States, are expected to have the higher cost competitiveness and could potentially account for 30% of the exports at production costs of below $1.5 per kilogram by 2050, and regions with access to lower-cost renewable power, such as Australia or North Africa, could make up an additional 60% of exports, and production costs of between $1.5 per kilogram and $2 per kilogram. And the growing hydrogen trade could enable uptake in countries that have strong decarbonization ambitions but lack the necessary energy resources for clean hydrogen and production, such as parts of Europe, as well as Japan and South Korea. And the global hydrogen trade could emerge to connect demand centers with resource-rich export hubs. Major hydrogen trade flows are expected to evolve to connect export hubs with favorable renewable power or natural gas resource to main demand regions, Asia and Europe. And Europe could meet most of its demand from within the regions, importing from countries with low gas prices or abundant hydro and solar power such as Iberia and Nordics. The remainder could be sourced from the Middle East, North Africa, and North America. Asia could source hydrogen from countries and regions like Australia, Latin America, the Middle East, and North America, and regions with favorable routes to market, either by producing and shipping as derivatives or building a strategic network of hydrogen pipelines towards off-takers, potentially reusing existing natural gas infrastructure, may also emerge as production hubs. While major trade flows in Europe will likely depend heavily on pipelines, shipping could prove critical to enable overseas trade. Hydrogen shipping could be expedited by converting hydrogen to synfuels. Synfuels are such as ammonia or methanol at the export hubs. Liquid hydrogen shipments could be one way to enable the global hydrogen trade after 2030, potentially increasing to approximately like 20 traded in 2050 in the fastest scenarios. Although this projected ramp-up of the global hydrogen trade is ambitious, it does have historical precedents. Like similar growth was observed in the first 25 years of LNG development.
It is anticipated that in order to meet the demand for clean hydrogen in important sectors, infrastructure must be deployed in a timely manner throughout the full supply chain. The future hydrogen economy will require the implementation of a number of essential enablers by 2050, the majority of which will involve physical infrastructure. A network of more than 40,000 kilometers of hydrogen pipes will be required in Europe alone, in addition to more than 163,000 truck refueling stations worldwide, under the Achieve Commitment scenario. Innovation in fields where hydrogen technology is not yet developed, including the creation of fuel cells of heavy-duty car and marine vessels, may also be necessary to guarantee the adoption of hydrogen. To ensure that the infrastructure is in place to meet hydrogen demand at the rate required to meet decarbonization target and with a compelling business rationale, coordination between the public and private sectors may be necessary. Asia is predicted to remain the largest consumer of hydrogen across all scenarios, notwithstanding uncertainties in regional and sectoral demands. This demand is mostly driven by the need for chemicals that are currently on the market, and to a lesser extent by the transportation, iron, and steel industries in China and India, since ammonia and hydrogen are combined in current coal and gas plants, respectively. A sizable portion of the hydrogen demand in Japan and South Korea is anticipated to originate from the production of power. Asia may have to rely on the imports from the Middle East or Oceania, for example, as the region is unlikely to create enough hydrogen to fulfill its increasing demand. The chemicals industry is expected to continue to be a major driver of hydrogen demand in both Europe and the US. but new applications in the steel and synthetic fuels production sectors, as well as in the aviation, marine, and heavy road transport industries, are also anticipated to have a major impact on demand growth. Green hydrogen is predicted to account for between 50 and 65% of the world supply mix by 2050, depending on the scenario, due to the cost saving in electrolyzer and renewable energy sources, with a projected share of between 20 and 35% of the supply. Blue hydrogen is expected to come in second. It is anticipated that the ratio of green to blue hydrogen production will vary greatly by region, mostly due to advances in cost factors. It is anticipated that the production of blue hydrogen will be concentrated in areas like the Middle East and North America that have CCUS and natural gas at a competitive price. The generation of blue hydrogen may require up to 500 billion cubic meters of natural gas by 2050, which in the further acceleration scenario accounts for 10 to 15 of the world's natural gas demand, as well as the ability to absorb and store 750 to 1,000 megatons of carbon dioxide. The creation of green hydrogen is expected to be more prevalent in areas like Australia and Iberia that have an abundance of affordable renewable resources. A scarcity of renewable energy sources may provide a constraint on the creation of green hydrogen. In order to produce the necessary amount of green hydrogen by 2050, some 14,000 terawatt-hours, or 25% of global renewable electricity generation, may be needed, according to the further acceleration scenario. Large-scale investment and the implementation of a scale electrolyzer manufacture are two other possible roadblocks that need to be addressed to achieve robust green hydrogen uptake. The second is particularly crucial in terms of cost competitiveness.
So, in conclusion, hydrogen is a versatile energy carrier that has the potential to play a significant role in decarbonizing the energy system, and hydrogen-based technologies can provide low-carbon alternatives across sectors. However, as of now, there's still a wide range of the possible hydrogen pathways up to 2050, both in terms of hydrogen demand and supply, leading to uncertainty for organizations looking to enter the hydrogen market or to scale their operations. And government and private sector support is projected to heavily affect hydrogen uptake. At the same time, future technological development of alternatives, like for instance, high temperatures electric furnace, long duration energy storage, and like availability of bio-based feedstock, could also create competition in some of the new applications for hydrogen and hydrogen-based fuels. Hydrogen's companies may benefit from closely monitoring the signposts on policies, the development of hydrogen enabling infrastructure, and the cost competitiveness of the hydrogen based on the technologies compared to other low carbon alternatives, as they can like chart their way forward. And finally, here's the reference used by our group. And thanks for your listening and watching.